Good afternoon. That's good. Cardialen was formed 2 years ago with a focus on a new pain-free cardioversion therapy to treat, at this stage, primarily atrial fibrillation. AF for short, as we refer to it in the slides. The end device will be an implantable atrial cardioverter that will be similar in form to today's high voltage ICDs used to treat ventricular fibrillation in patients. Most of us are familiar with those, made more or less famous by Vice President Cheney. But our device will operate at less than 1/300th of the energy level of a typical ICD. We intend to develop and to commercialize atrial cardioverters as a specialist cardiovascular entity. We'll be the first into that particular market with a pain-free atrial-focused device. Our technology also has very significant benefits in ventricular fibrillation, but given the entrenched position of the major device companies in that field, we'll be working with them in partnerships and or in licensing development. The area in which we're focused, atrial fibrillation, is a very serious condition. You may be aware of it. It's a condition in which the upper chambers of the heart beat in an excessively fast or disorganized fashion, and more than double the risk of heart failure and early death, significantly raise the risk of stroke, and decrease the quality of life in those who have it. And a very large number have this condition. The numbers are large, 11 million people worldwide is the latest estimate, and the costs are very high, as you can see. Many different patterns of therapy are applied to treat atrial fibrillation, ranging from drugs, antiarrhythmic and rate control drugs, through catheter ablation, to external cardioversion, surgical procedures of various types. All of them have their place. All of them have their own effect and their own particular patient types, but all have problems and leave needs unmet. We believe that the atrial cardioversion device will help meet those needs and add a new segment to the implantable cardiac rhythm management device market. Currently, ICDs and pacemakers. We'll add that atrial cardioverter to that market. $12 billion and growing. The catheter ablation market, already $2 billion and growing at a fast clip, reflecting the importance of atrial fibrillation as a condition. Our approach is based on technology developed by Professor Igor Evamov, whose experience ranges from the Cleveland Clinic through Case Western University and now to Washington University in St. Louis, a world-recognized expert in his field. We have an exclusive global license jointly with Case Western and with WashU, and we're building a worldwide patent portfolio carefully focused in a franchise area which we can support, maintain, and add to over time. So the atrial cardioverter devices themselves will be implanted in very much the standard way that ICDs and pacemakers are implanted. This is a very familiar, straightforward procedure. Their end objective will be to restore normal rhythm in a typical older patient, give the physicians a new therapy option which you can employ either singly or in combination with, for example, catheter ablation or other antiarrhythmic drugs. We bring an experienced team to this effort. I've had broad global senior management experience in drugs and medical devices. I've enjoyed most taking new technologies and new divisions out to full commercialization. More recently, I've been doing that with smaller independent startups, more challenged, but I think more fun. Randy Nelson, our Vice President of Product Development, brings rich experience in cardiac device development with all the major companies, including Boston Scientific and St. Jude Medical. Quinn Shah, cardiologist, a board-eligible electrophysiologist, is committed to the field of research in atrial fibrillation, hands-on research in his case, doing a fine job. He also has had a combination of clinical and commercial backgrounds. Igor Efimov I mentioned. Our board of directors, very experienced. Time doesn't permit me to run through them, but our investors include initially the Twin Cities Angels in Minneapolis, St. Paul, very experienced in the cardiac rhythm management field. One of our directors is a former vice president of Medtronic. The due diligence team that Twin Cities Angels put together included 5 representatives from the industry, so we are well known in that field, a world-class scientific advisory board, and all the usual consultants. The objectives that we have in coming here, primarily we're looking to raise $1.2 million in a second round of notes to complete that by the end of May, and that moves us out to a Series A offering of about $5 million a year or so from now. We aim to build on a recently completed successful study and move into first-in-man studies, build a long-term business with $1 billion sales potential, but the prospect of an early acquisition is very high. The 4 largest cardiovascular acquisitions last year, as some will know perhaps, were all pre-PMA. CoreValve and eValve receiving some favorable publicity in the press only yesterday. Those represented $2 billion in value between them. And so in summary, we have a serious condition which we're addressing. We have excellent long-term value prospects, but also very interesting early acquisition possibilities. Thank you very much.